Close your eyes for just a moment. Imagine being the greatest musician of your generation. Your concerts are sold out. Kings admire your talent. Audiences travel across Europe just to hear you perform. Now imagine discovering that you're slowly losing the one thing your entire life depends on: your hearing. For most people, it would mean the end of a career. For Ludwig van Beethoven, it became the beginning of immortality. The music you're hearing right now isn't just beautiful. It's the sound of hope fighting against despair. It's the sound of a man refusing to surrender to fate. More than 220 years later, millions of people still stop what they're doing the moment the first notes of Moonlight Sonata begin to play. But why? What secret is hidden inside this masterpiece that continues to move people across every generation, every culture, and every language? And is it true that this legendary composition was inspired by a heart? Around the age of 26, Beethoven noticed something terrifying. His hearing was beginning to fade. At first, it was subtle. Certain sounds became difficult to hear. Conversations felt distant. High notes slowly disappeared. He hoped it was temporary. He visited doctors, he tried treatments, he searched desperately for a cure. Nothing worked. Every passing year, the silence grew louder. Imagine being a painter who is slowly losing sight, or a writer who can no longer read. For a composer, losing hearing seemed impossible to overcome. Beethoven was devastated. He hid his condition from friends, audiences, and even fellow musicians because he feared they would no longer respect him. Behind his public success was a man living with constant fear. Yet instead of giving up, he did something extraordinary. In 1801, during one of the darkest periods of his life, Beethoven completed Piano Sonata No. 14 in C-sharp minor. Ironically, he never called it Moonlight Sonata. The famous nickname appeared several years later when German poet Ludwig wrote that the opening movement reminded him of moonlight shining across the surface of a peaceful lake. The description captured people's imagination. The name remained forever. Today, almost no one knows the piece by its original title. The first movement is unlike anything that came before it. It doesn't rush. It doesn't demand attention. Instead, it whispers. Every note seems to float through the air. Every pause carries meaning. Rather than showing technical brilliance, Beethoven chose emotional honesty. And that decision changed music forever. For more than 2 centuries, people have debated what inspired Moonlight Sonata. One popular theory connects it to Countess Giulietta Guicciardi, one of Beethoven's piano students. The sonata was dedicated to her. Some believe Beethoven loved her deeply. Others believe their relationship could never succeed because of social differences. But historians still disagree. There is no definitive proof that the sonata tells a love story. Perhaps it does. Perhaps it doesn't. And maybe that's exactly why it continues to touch millions of people. Because Beethoven never tells us what to feel. Instead, he creates space for our own emotions. Some hear sadness. Others hear peace. Some hear loneliness. Others hear hope. The music becomes a mirror, reflecting whatever the listener carries inside. Most casual listeners only know the famous first movement. But Moonlight Sonata contains 3 completely different movements. The second movement feels lighter, almost like a brief moment of calm between emotional battles. Then comes the third movement. Everything changes. The peaceful melody explodes into breathtaking speed and intensity. The music becomes fierce, wild, almost uncontrollable. Many piano experts consider it one of Beethoven's most technically demanding works. It's as if all the pain, frustration, determination, and passion hidden beneath the quiet opening suddenly burst free. The contrast is astonishing. One composition, 3 emotional worlds. Together, they tell a story far greater than words ever could. As the years passed, Beethoven's hearing continued to decline. Eventually, he became almost completely deaf. He could no longer perform as he once had. Simple conversations became difficult. Friends communicated with him through notebooks because he couldn't hear their voices. For most people, this would have marked the end. But Beethoven refused to surrender. Instead of allowing silence to destroy his creativity, he learned to hear music in his imagination. Some of his greatest masterpieces, including the legendary Ninth Symphony. More than 2 centuries have passed since Beethoven wrote Moonlight Sonata. Empires have fallen. Technology has transformed the world. Music itself has evolved in countless ways. Yet this one piano piece continues to captivate audiences everywhere. It appears in films, television, concert halls, video games, social media, and countless personal moments around the world. Why? Because true art never grows old. It speaks directly to emotions that every generation understands. Pain, love, loss, hope, courage. These feelings never disappear. Neither does great music. Moonlight Sonata reminds us that beauty can emerge from suffering, that weakness can become strength, and that our greatest struggles sometimes produce our greatest achievements. Moonlight Sonata is more than a masterpiece. It is the story of a man who refused to let tragedy define him. Beethoven was losing the ability to hear the world around him. Yet somehow, he created music that the world will never stop hearing. That is why Moonlight Sonata continues to inspire millions. Not because it is perfect, but if this story inspired you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more fascinating stories behind the world's greatest music. And now, we'd love to hear from you. Which classical masterpiece has touched your heart the most? Leave your answer in the comments below. Because sometimes, the greatest stories are told without a single word.